Saprolings here. Gonna try them out again. Been doing really well with them. Posted this deck on Reddit, so if you're coming from there, thanks for checking it out. It's a very good budget deck. I am Diamond rank 3 at the moment. Been Master, but lost it playing fun decks. But this is actually being very competitive. 0 rares necessary. I am running 4 though, however, because I do have 3 of the dual lands, and I threw in one. Can't remember what it's called, but it's a green black aftermath card that is very good for the deck. But you don't need it at all, and you don't need the dual lands. They're just helpful. A lot of the times you get your black mana from the Song of Freyalise, and the tapped black-green lands work out just fine as well. So we're going to attack here first because we're going to Shepherd instead of Sporecrown Thallid, because what we want to do is get as many tokens as possible when we hit Song of Freyalise, so that we have a huge excess of mana when it pops into our hand. Hopefully we get it. It is quite key to the deck. That's okay, it happens. You'll see that this deck can come back from stuff like that a lot easier than other decks. Like other Swarm decks, other aggro decks. You get a Golden Demise turn 3, it's usually pretty rough to come back from. I think I will keep this for now, hopefully to get the kicker next turn, because if we get Song of Freyalise, we will have 3 mana here and 2 here. So we'll, well, I guess we'll be 1 mana short there. Fungal Plots is key to the deck. Really good stuff. I was running 4, but I don't think it's necessary to run 4. See what he gets. Alright. Yeah, the swamp, my friend. We'll do this now. Doesn't matter, there's no, guess it matters if they're playing Scarab God, but that's unfortunate. It's okay. Still gonna wait to kick this because our hand is so low after that demise. We might sacrifice 2 Saprolings. It's inefficient to do right now, but it might be better to draw cards, so. We'll still give him the swamp. Chupacabra is not really a threat against us. It hurts sometimes to get your Slimefoot Chupacabra, but we've got 4 and it's just one of the win cons. Oh, this is interesting, right? Of Belzenok. We can always do this on our turn if we get a bad draw. It's free to sacrifice 2 and draw a card. If we would have drawn a Lord there, we could have taken out Karn. Getting some unfortunate draws here. Let's go ahead and attack first. So he has a Chupacabra and a Duress. I'm expecting him to pull out the Duress. There's Shepherd here. And next turn, if we don't draw anything, we will go ahead and sacrifice 2. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this now, because if he gets Duress, it's gone anyway. So it's not what I wanted. I wanted to kick it. Rarely do you end up kicking it, to be honest. But it's still fantastic, so that's alright. Kind of tempted to do it now. No. So if you don't know this card, it's rarely played, but it's interesting. I always forget if this is Saproling. If some of the stuff in the deck is Saproling or Fungus, and some is just Saproling, and he's just a Fungus. Otherwise, I would sack one of these and one of these in response to make that a little bit more inefficient. But he just gave us another Fungal Plots, so that's just going to come back as a Fungus. So if you don't know this card, it summons 4 0/1 Clerics, which help you for your final. Create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying, travel, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you. It's not really that threatening, to be honest. I'm expecting Duress here. Chupacabra's not great, right? He did get the Chupacabra. I think that's a mistake, but that's alright. I guess he wants a blocker for Karn, but Karn's still dead next turn. So now we'll go ahead and once he targets a Fungus, we will go ahead and do this. So we're effectively only paying 1 Saproling to draw a card. And let's see, hold on a second. He'll have 3 blockers next turn. So yeah, we'll still get Karn. So we gain 2 life, we draw a card. And we only had to sacrifice 1 Fungus, so that's why this is so cool. It's unfortunate. We needed the Spore Swarm, but it's not key right now. Right now we need to get a Lord, or we need to get Song of Freyalise. We're just getting really terrible luck here. At least we'll get to take out Karn. So he didn't block here, so we can actually go ahead and again do this to get an efficient, just use 1 Saproling instead of 2, right? So I think we'll go ahead and do that. He should have blocked the Clerics, which would have not allowed me to do that. But I guess he wanted some chumps to sacrifice for the Belzenok. We'll go ahead and Spore Swarm here. And that'll be it. It's really not that good of a card, Rite of Belzenok, but it's cool. I like when people are playing off-meta decks, so I've been seeing a lot more of it lately, which is really refreshing, especially at Diamond. Usually people are try hard, but I think maybe people at Diamond are starting to realize grinding isn't very fun, and you're going to lose all your rewards anyways, so... Haven't seen this in a while, let me read it. Sunset Pyramid enters the battlefield with 3 brick counters. Remove a brick counter from your Sunset Pyramid, draw a card, or scry 1. Okay. He's like, wait a minute, I need creatures to sacrifice here. Please, can we draw something? I guess that's something. So we'll go all in here because of the fungal infections and the efficient fungal plots. And we have a Shepherd target, so go ahead and attack him all in because he needs stuff to sacrifice here. And we'll get rid of the Chupacabra. This actually kind of looks like a fungus from back. Maybe a moment of craving. That'll be interesting. And we're not going to sack it. We will sack this and another one because we want to kill that Chupacabra. A lot of cool stuff this deck can do. I love being able to Fungal Infection. It feels like old school Magic. It feels like doing lots of stuff during combat on the stack, stuff like that, so I like it. We'll kick this next turn rather than playing it this turn. And we'll go ahead and just exile now. I don't think there's anything to really bluff with 2 cards in my hand and a bunch of forests. It's not the best because he might Golden Demise, but being kind of lazy and I want to do something here. You know, you can do it at instant speed, obviously, so that's what you should do. But if we make a comeback here, you'll see just how well this deck, I mean, can deal with stuff like an early Golden Demise, right? That's unfortunate because we do not play any swamps. I might put in just 1 swamp for situations like this. We just play the 3 Woodland Cemeteries and we use the Song of Freyalise. This is going to end up killing him, I bet, unless he gets some creatures out here. How amazing would it be if Saproling Migration had flashback as well? Oh, that would be crazy. Like, we can afford to take the 6, it's fine. We've got a few turns. And unless you drop some blockers or Demise. That's unfortunate, but in response, look what we'll do. We'll go ahead and sacrifice 2 Saprolings, draw a card. This will give us refill our hand in response to the Golden Demise. Put full control on just in case it tries to flash right through here, which it sometimes does. So really he played Ubuntu's Last Reckoning to give us 4 life and give us 2 draws. Now his lands can't untap. I mean, he still has a bunch of lands, that's fine, but we'll go ahead and kick this here. And turn. That's alright, there's nothing great in our hand. I suspect he is for the Oasis if he's smart. That was not the right choice. Llanowar Elves? Really? What is the Elves going to do for me right now, dude? So we made a huge comeback. We got Golden Demised. Turn 3. He wasn't playing a meta deck, but... So, Saprolings make quite nice comebacks. Let's do another one here. Okay. Alright, yeah, I crashed after I entered a game just before this, so something's a little bit messed up with the client at the moment. Let me just make sure I'm recording, because sometimes my OBS hotkeys are messed up. I bet he thought that Golden Demise was just game over, but that's the thing with Saprolings. I think I might throw in a main deck Sylvan Awakening because of the Settle the Wreckages, right? If we get 8 Saprolings settled or something like that, we have 8 lands they'll probably not have mana to counter the Sylvan Awakening next turn. You cast Sylvan Awakening, and if you don't know what that is, it makes all your lands 2/2 haste, indestructible, I think reach, and maybe even trample until end of turn, and you just swing and win. So I really like Sylvan Awakening. I mean, if we did best of 3, ideally it would be a sideboard card, right? If you saw white with Settle, you'd throw it in there. But I might main deck 1 because it's so good against Settle the Wreckage. Let's see if the game is going to work here. Unfortunately, we might be getting... the client is really messed up right now. Can we get just some indication that something's happening? Check our internet real quick. Internet is fine. I really would prefer not to have 2 crash losses today, right? God, it's so dusty. It's a miracle. Okay, so this is somewhat of an ideal hand. We want a Llanowar Elves. We want a... see, I actually thought this was the summon 2 Saprolings, so it's not super great, but it's alright. We might draw it. You want Llanowar Elves turn 1, and then turn 2 you want to drop your 2 Saprolings. Then turn 3 you want to play Song of Freyalise, and then just go nuts. Song of Freyalise, if you don't know, is the first 2 sagas allow your creatures to tap for any color until the end of your next turn, and the third one gives your creatures a permanent +1/+1 counter, and until end of turn they have Vigilance, Indestructible, and I believe Trample. So it's really sick. Hopefully this doesn't get Essence Scattered, but if it does, that's alright. We need our Thallids primarily to be not Essence Scattered. That's okay. I haven't seen this yet. I've read it, but at the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on as foretold. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than the mana cost of a spell you cast with converted mana cost X or less, where X is the number of time counters on as foretold. We do run 2 Brontodons for stuff like this, so we'll see. Go ahead and drop a Lord here. Swing in for 5. So we've not got a bunch of our Saprolings spam, but still able to do 5 damage on turn 3, so not too bad. And luckily we don't see 2 white mana, so we can feel free to fully attack next turn. Okay, so we'll drop our Lord first. Hopefully it doesn't get countered, but I mean, maybe we should Saproling Migration first, see if we can bait out a counter. Let's do that. It's unlikely, but let's see. I like to do little tricks where you cast before. You know, the right thing to do is cast after combat most times, but if you cast before, it leads your opponent into a false sense of security later in the game, where they believe that if you don't cast before, that you have nothing after your combat step. It's an interesting little thing that helps sometimes. So I'll just get the other Thallid, which is okay. We're still swinging it in for 5 again. He's down to 10. Now imagine if we get settled, right? We'd gain 5 lands, and then the next turn we'd Sylvan Awakening for 9/2/2 hasted badass man lands. So I really like the idea of popping in a Sylvan Awakening because of all the white out there right now. He looks a bit worried here. Two white, okay. Precognition Field. You may look at the top card of your library. You may cast the top card of your library if it is an instant or sorcery card. Exile the top card of your library. Alright, we're gonna drop our Fungal Plots now. Wait a minute, he's just got 1 mana. I'm not sure what he's... Even if this is not enough... I'm not sure what's going on here. I might be missing something, but he's... It's like, it's not enough to fake out Settle Me, right? If this had a... Let's read this again. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm missing, but I think this is lethal. Yes, it is. So 2-0 so far in Diamond Rank 3. I know some people, someone mentioned they've had trouble with this deck in the Reddit thread. It went 1-5. I don't know if you just had really bad luck, but this deck is pretty good. I have played 2 off-meta decks, but if you look at my first video, I beat plenty of meta decks in it. Oh, same matchup here. I'm not sure if this was the last guy or the guy before that, but I remember the name Colin. So he gets a chance at revenge here. And we get a chance to see if our deck will hold up twice. Not a great hand. No turn 1 or turn 2 drop. This doesn't really count as a great turn 2 drop. If I could remember if it was Colin or not last game, it's almost like a best of 3, and I would keep Brontodon because of all the enchantment madness. I think it was Colin, and his deck is pretty slow. The Brontodon is not necessarily going to save us if we're too slow as well, right? So this is a mulligan situation. This is also really bad, but I don't want to mulligan down to 5. Get rid of that. The deck only runs 21 lands, so it's unfortunate when we get... I think he's good gaming last good game. It's fortunate that we get flooded like that from time to time. Hopefully he plays his blue mana and taps it so we can play our Thallid comfortably. Perfect. What often happens with this deck against control is there's one turn that you just need for them to tap out, and you go absolutely nuts with Song of Freyalise, and that's all you need. I had a really brilliant game where this is the very thing that someone cast, and it was a turn 3, and went completely nuts. This is the one rare that I've thrown in there because I have 1 copy. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage, draw a card. Despair is the aftermath. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So pretty cool. See if we can get this seal away. Ideally, it doesn't get seal away, but then at least we'll know whether something can get countered. So there's the seal away. And it's not a huge deal if our lords get seal away. Like, a lot of other lord decks have a very hard time losing their lords, but not this deck. So we can, yeah, you're definitely getting the planes. That's unfortunate. I thought, there is another Aftermath card that I've been tempted to run. It's 1 green, and a target creature gets +X until in a turn where X is the number of creatures you control. I thought that was that for a second, and that would have been able to help us take out Karn this turn. He's definitely going to take Teferi next turn as his -1. Unfortunate, but it's alright. Just doing that now because he's tapped out. Want to get it to land. Sorry about the smoke on the camera. It's a terrible habit, but try and blow it away. Yeah, figures. Now here comes Teferi. Really? Okay, so he's worried. This is what we needed before when he was tapped out. So it's very, very likely that he has a Settle the Wreckage, and that's his answer to us killing Karn. Let's go ahead and Freyalise first, see if we can get a counter out, and then feel like we're free to Song of Freyalise. No, we are not. Yeah, this is why I want to main deck one Sylvan Awakening. I kind of want to go in with 4 because if he just has to seal away, we'll still kill Karn. But I'm not sure if it's worth the risk. So I think we'll just go in with the Shepherd and hope that it's a Settle the Wreckage and he'll be forced to cast it. Or he'll just let Karn die, which is probably what I would do rather than waste the Settle. Did he get what he needed? Was he bluffing a Settle? Cast out, okay. Kind of tempted to -1 it myself, just to get another Saproling. But we'll wait, because this is an instant. He might play something. That's alright, that's alright. So Vicious Offering is really, really fun for this deck. It's very easy to cast. Sacrifice a creature for the kicker to give a creature -5/-5 until end of turn. It's fantastic at dealing with things like Scarab God and Hazoret. They're indestructible usually. Well, Scarab God, will come back the next turn, but I mainly mean Hazoret and the other indestructibles. Gets rid of Lyra. Lots of stuff that it hits, and it's very cheap. I think we'll give him Seal Away, to be honest. I wish I could see Karn's total loyalty right now. I think it's 3. We'll give him a Seal Away. Hopefully that will tempt him into keeping it and not Teferrying this turn, which would be a mistake on his part. I think he should Teferry, but he is probably worried about the craziness that this deck can do, and it can do a whole lot with Song of Freyalise in 1 turn. So that's really good for us. Hopefully we can get rid of some mana first, make sure we can get the Brontodon out. So we need to go in with all 4 to take Karn out this turn, which is unfortunate if we get settled. But again, that's why I really want to run that Sylvan Awakening. I gotta do it. If you didn't have full mana, I actually would just ignore Karn and do Driven and draw a bunch of cards. But I am pretty sure there's a settle. I actually could also not go in and wait to get the +1/+1 counters and hopefully have him use mana next turn. But it's just not enough damage for me to want to do right now. If we Brontodon first, he won't have enough mana to settle, and he'll want to counter it, so I think that's actually what we'll do. We'll Brontodon first. He'll be very tempted to counter, and if he counters, we're free to go in. Okay, so no counter there, so we will He's got 5. I think I'd rather have my Lord back. That's the Lord, right? Yeah. So now we don't have to get settled as hard. We can just lose 2 to settle. He does have a seal away. So we might lose 3. Because if we just go in with 2, Karn will survive. But the thing is are we that worried about Karn? I don't think we are. So I think we will just go in with 2 and let Karn survive for now. Prevent a huge settle. I don't know how big of a chance there is that he has a settle, but let's do this, and then he won't be able to -1 next turn, which he won't want to anyways. It's just a hieroglyphic illumination, but nonetheless, as expected. I love how it just used a timeout. Like, I'm pressing things as fast as possible. They really need to fix the combat timer. It's so abysmally bad. You've got all the time in the world during your main phase, but not enough time during combat. So I'm happy with this. Because he has no mana now. So, I mean, he'll untap 2, I guess. So, forgot about that, actually. I can't remember if he dropped the land this turn. Because we're hoping to kill Teferi next turn, but let's go give him the plains. Yeah, I forgot about that stupid untap 2. That's alright, though. We're literally so close to just losing from the timer. I think we're going to go ahead and -1 this and get us another Saproling. Okay. Yeah, I gotta put that one Sylvan Awakening in. I'm tempted to Driven, see if I can get a counter. But if he has a settle, he won't counter it anyways, but I'd like the Aftermath anyways, even though we don't have black at the moment. Just don't have much to do, so let's just toss it out there. Don't have much experience with it, so if he doesn't have a settle, he will undoubtedly counter. He's thinking, so I'm thinking that he does not have a settle. I could be wrong. Let's just find out. Let's just make sure we get to find out. Let's do that so we're at least not totally brutalized. He might save Teferi if he has another seal away. And there is a settle. Unfortunate. The great thing about this deck is usually we have this enchantment, that enchantment that we saw earlier, and we could have just drawn with that instead, but alas. So I think we need to get these out now, even though we'd like to kick them, so that next turn we can hopefully do something. Ooh. You might... Sorry, what did he exile? It didn't show me.
Let's skip to the good part.
What? I'm not sure what he exiled.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
It's weird. Pretty sure these are all Karn. No. I thought it was non-land. Okay. I guess he did the land. I thought it was non-land. Damn, boy!
It's a plane worth saving. Stand down. There with me.
At least we can take out Karn. Actually, now we might be able to take something else out if this sticks. So these can't do damage. It's either Gideon or Karn. I think Gideon is a bigger problem right now because of the double with Oath of Teferi. If he has another settle, we are dead, and that is why I want to main deck that one, Sylvan Awakening. Unfortunate. It's just we do really need to get that enchantment out that allows us to draw cards if we sacrifice 2 fungus, because it fuels a lot of stuff. I think we'll probably concede here because he's got such strong control over the board. I want to let him have his fun, but it's going to take too long for all these counters to go off. So, well played, Mr. Colin. Hopefully we get to play each other again, and it'll be the best of 3. I'm going to hit it straight away and hope that we can play each other again. Please, Colin. We need a best of 3, my friend. Ah! If it was a true BO3, I would have definitely tossed those 7 Awakenings and he would have probably lost. Although he would have been able to sideboard as well, so who knows. This isn't great. We want this instead to be the summon 2 Saprolings, and we want this to be a Llanowar Elves. But the song is so key, and we do have a Lord that we will keep it. Well, there goes Song of Freyalise. If he's smart. Yeah. That's the card we need. However, there's 3 songs left. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong card. That's what we needed last game. I always get this mixed up with the summon 2 Saprolings kicker, summon 4. I'm not sure how good these fungal infections are. I tossed in 2 because I mentioned on Reddit there was a budget deck, so I popped these in to make it a true budget deck. They haven't been doing great for me. It's just the black mana is rare enough that it's fine for Slimefoot, but it's actually it's actually a difficult decision here. The Brontodon I'd really like to keep. The Thallid is not doing as much good right now, so, and it's also Moment of Craving. It's in range of Moment of Craving and Golden Demise, so I think we'll get rid of the Thallid actually. Keep the Brontodon. That's good. I mean, not great, but at least we know we have a black now. We really need to draw our -2/-2 to get our song back. It's the other black spell in this deck. Can't remember the name of it. Sorry. Terrible with names. It's 1 colorless and a black. -2/-2 until end of turn. Kicker, sacrifice a creature, -5/-5. So, super happy we kept our Brontodon here because Gate of the Afterlife. We could wait for Godfarrow's Gift, but we risk Brontodon being removed. We'll wait till next turn because we're not having much mana anyway, so. Go ahead and Driven here because we need mana, so we need a card so bad, and we'll get one from the Brontodon. Actually, we'll get to draw 2. I forgot about being able to Despair straight away. It's such a good card. It is the one rare. So he'll have to discard 2, and we will get to draw 2. Fantastic. There's our song. And what did he lose? So he's playing the Infinite Combat Celebrant combo, where you get infinite combat steps for each combat celebrant you have from the gate here. So we definitely need to get rid of this soon. We can get rid of the final product, so, and we can always save this 1 mana. So we won't play our elf because we need to make sure we can Brontodon here because this combat celebrant combo is brutal. So what happens is they return Gate to the Afterlife allows you during your combat step to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. It has haste. Combat Celebrant, when you exert it, gives you another combat step at the end of the turn. Played against this guy before. The Skirk Prospector is the key here. Fills your graveyard. It's free. So anyways, as I was saying, the Gate to the Afterlife, if you don't know, is 7 mana, but this makes it 2 with this. Comes out into play during your combat step. Put a creature from your graveyard into play. Combat Celebrant exerts and gets another combat step, so you do it again. You get another Combat Celebrant, do it again, and it gets pretty crazy. It takes quite the combo of cards, though, to work out. You usually need about 3 Skirk Prospectors and 3 Combat Celebrants. So they play stuff like this to pop that into their graveyard, get the Combat Celebrants in there. Gotta be pretty lucky to get it to work, but when it does work, it is beautiful. I think this is the guy that I played before that has this deck. That's unfortunate. We really need something else here. We don't even have any creatures in our graveyard. We can get one from this Thrashing Brontodon, but no reason not to Song here. Song is something you need early game. It's good late game as well if you get the 3rd Saga to go off for your massive tokens, but it's really for early game. You get huge combos rolling, which unfortunately we haven't seen in these matchups, but we are 2 wins, 1 loss, so. Might sacrifice my Oasis here. No, it's not Trample. I always get mixed up here. The important thing is that we have the Brontodon, which if we didn't have, he'd probably already have done this and started some craziness. It might have been smart to Brontodon the Gate to stop him from drawing cards, but I really want to do it in response to him searching for the Gate to the Afterlife. Let's do it now, finally. Just don't want to mess around with it. Our luck, he now, well, he can't play the actual card at 7 mana. He'll have to play another Gate. So this is good, but not huge, because we needed the Song of Freyalise earlier. I think I'll save the Vicious Offering for the Vizier. No, let's just do it. We don't need to kick it. Let's see what happens if we Cool. Song again. And then we'll grab this Brontodon back as a token, and then next turn they'll gain +1/+1, and the turn after that they'll gain +1/+1 as well. So he has the embalm cost for the Vizier, but no great targets. So before our turn starts, let's go ahead and exile a creature card from our graveyard and create a Saproling so that we have another target to get +1/+1. And there's Stowaway. That's good. This is not usually how the deck plays out. This is a slow roll, but what's he got? All right, let's we really need some card draws, so let's sacrifice these Saprolings, make it a little more inefficient for him. We're just sacrificing one Saproling, gaining 2 life, drawing a card. And we got another Brontodon, so we are very safe from his deck right now. He's probably a little frustrated with that. We've got 4, 6, 7 here, so we have enough for everything we need to do, so we'll send the elf in. We are going to Stowaway first, because I'd actually rather have the Stowaway counter than the Brontodon, because his deck is completely Godpharaoh's Gift. He's got no counter, pass priority to us really quickly. There's no reason to keep this open as a bluff, because our hand will be empty, so we'll just auto-tap it. Normally, you'd want to keep your Woodland Cemetery open to have more bluffing power. And right, of course, elves had vigilance anyways from the Song of Freyalise final counter. Final counter is vigilance, trample, and indestructible until end of turn, which we're going to get again next turn. So you better have something here. He'll probably Vizier the Brontodon here because he needs to do something. And perhaps he'll just sacrifice the Brontodon and be at 1 life, but then he loses to Oasis. So I think this is almost lethal. If I could do this as an instant, this would be lethal here. Another song? Could have used those earlier, my friend. Right, so all our creatures are safe this turn from the Brontodon. Whoever we Oasis. So if we Oasis the elf, let's see here. The elf will be a 6/6. He'll block that. He'll take 7. If we Oasis the Stowaway, he'll take 7. So there's no possible way to lethal here. We can just get him to 1. The Oasis is only going to give us an extra 1 damage. But that 1 damage might make a big difference because that means we just need to lose 1 Saproling here. And we can create 1 Saproling with the Stowaway. So we're very, very close to lethal. However, we need the mana for Freyalise and the 4 mana here. So we're not going to Oasis, it's just 1 extra damage. Gonna cast first, there's no reason not to. I mean, I guess that was a mistake, actually. He'll just sacrifice the Brontodon in response, but at least at least we learned something about being lazy. Very lazy of me. Silly, silly, silly. That's okay. Diamond Master level play right here, my friends. Diamond Master level play. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, we need to do this now. Let's see here. No, we don't. Very lazy of me to do this. You might go for the Fungal Plots, who knows? Did I just lose a timeout? That's so strange. We have no legal targets for, so that's okay. I can't believe I lost the timeout for his play. I mean, we won anyways. I mean, I know that I don't like how the timer works. Alright, so those were 4 games with Saprolings. 3 wins, 1 loss. I guess we'll go for 1 more to make it an even 5. I went 4-1 with this deck earlier with the first video I posted. Let's see if we can do 4-1 again. Perhaps we will throw in 1 Sylvan Awakening. Let's see if we can make room for it real quick, because it would just be so fun to pull off. So 3 mana until your next turn. All lands you control become 2/2 elemental creatures with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. Fantastic play after a settle the wreckage. Do we have room for it though? Let's take out 1 Fungal Infection. They don't really do a huge amount. I just would love the fun of this. I mean, it's 2 rares, but it's not necessary. Both the rares aren't necessary. It's still budget. There are the 3 dual lands. They do help. Let's be real, dual lands always help. Alright, let's go for a 4-1 like earlier. I don't know why we keep playing against copper players. Our win rate hasn't been bad today. I mean, we lost Diamond 3 to Diamond 4 just barely from playing really silly decks earlier. Here's what we need. Here's what we need. And we need to draw a Freyalise. 4 lands is really unideal. We're only playing like 20, so that's a bummer. But it's good enough to keep. So earlier we were playing a really fun deck with Follow the Thran, which is destroy all lands, and the second 2 sagas are return 2 land. Each player can return 2 lands from their graveyard to their hand. However, we then throw in a... Oh, this is unfortunate. I thought this was the other one. We then throw in Graveyard Hate. Graveyard Hate removes their graveyard, right? So then there's no lands for them to return, because what Follow Thron does is it destroys all lands for both players, and then the next 2 sagas are, you know, during your next turn when the saga triggers, each player can return 2 lands from their graveyard. But you use Graveyard Hate to remove their graveyard before they can do that, effectively getting rid of all of their lands permanently. Then we play the Black Mythic Saga that makes a creature an artifact and then destroys all non-artifacts, and it's just a load of fun. Let's go ahead and drop our Foul Orchid here to get it over with. We don't need the 3 mana this turn. Dropping the Elf won't do much for us because next turn we'll still have 4 mana for the Spore Swarm, so 5 mana won't make a huge difference. Drop our Lord. Might actually better to drop Fungal Plots now, just in case something happens here. But we'll get the Lord out. Sure, let's get rid of the kitty cat. So that artifact control deck is a ton of fun. It's got full board removal, and wasn't expecting him to double block. Mistake on my part. Diamond Master level play here, fellas. God, now I might be too embarrassed to post this video because I just made that horrible play. So embarrassing. I'm so sorry. So yeah, that artifact deck lost a few games, and then we were playing Fun Angels with stuff like the Immortal Sun and the 8-mana enchantment that makes all their creatures 0/1s. Bunch of angels just to make Lyra actually a lord, because no one plays her as a lord. So we lost a few games for that, but not too many, so it's weird that we're still playing copper players at Diamond 3. And we have been masters, so... So, it's important here to get the fungal plots out so that we can start getting rid of these efficiently if need be. Drop both of our elves. We're not going to attack this turn. Now what we need is badly a Song of Freyalise. Ideally, that would have been a Song of Freyalise. There's the procession. Let's get our Brontodon. Come on, Brontodon, please. See, this is why we need Song of Freyalise, because they become indestructible, +1/+1, we can run through. I'll be real, the deck is really struggles without the song. So if that's why you're losing, if you haven't been drawing the song, or you don't have 4 copies, that might be why. You can, of course, win without the song, and it often does, however, it's quite difficult. This is instant speed, so we can wait, see if we get a better target here. Noiter Priest is not going to do anything for us because he's going to embalm. This also gets rid of Crested Sunmare, which is our main threat here. So I believe we'll save this Vicious Offering or the Crested Sunmare drop. Because we'll have enough blockers for a while, hopefully. I'll probably end up sacrificing a couple Saprolings next turn to draw something useful here. We don't have any creatures in our graveyard now, so... Thank you! So happy to see you, my friend. Hello! He's like, oh shit. And we're just gonna do it right away. We're gonna tap an elf because we need this black. And Shall we sacrifice 2 Saprolings to draw a card? We're out of mana. However, if we drew a Song of Freyalise, that would be doable. Because then we'd have all our... Thing is we kind of need our blockers right now because of this. No, this isn't a Chefnet Dunes. So we're okay on blockers. We have 9 blockers. He's got 8 attackers. If we lose 2, it won't be the end of the world. I would really like to draw a Song of Freyalise right now. It's just a risk. I think we're gonna risk it here. Darn it. Okay, we can't afford to do 2 more, so hopefully next turn we'll draw Song. And we'll go ahead and Fungal Plots the Brontodon and get another Saproling anyway, so... I'm sorry. Thanks for giving me priority. I guess it was the fungus, so we couldn't sacrifice it, but I'm so sick of end turn not passing priority on stuff like this. Ugh. That's right, we'll just use our Vicious Offering now. We'll be in trouble if he does draw the Crested Sunmare, but gotta hope for the best here. So we'll block, because we need to sacrifice a creature anyway, so we'll block with them. Actually, we might block with an elf. One of the elves. Let's block with one of the elves here. Saplings are more useful. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Because we want to... No, it does work. That's not a sapling. Okay. Block with an elf. Tap for green. Tap for black. Vicious Offering. Kicker. Sacrifice the elves. Oops. We almost just -5'd our elves there. Hopefully he doesn't draw the Sunmare. The Embalm is 6, so he's 1 short. We don't have enough mana to do the second part of Fungal Plots. Just gonna do this now. There's no board wipes. And if he does embalm the sanctions next turn and goes for the Fungal Plots, we'll sacrifice 5 of them, 4 of them. He did draw the land. I'm assuming he goes for the plots again. least we got rid of the Anointed Procession. Okay, so let's would have been brilliant if we had Slimefoot out. We would have done like 8 damage by now, and gained 8 life. But we've been pretty unlucky this game. Yeah, I don't want him to embalm that. I can take 2. At least we have the song here. There's our Vicious Offering again. Yeah, so this Vicious Offering is really helpful in this matchup. We just need to hope that he doesn't draw the Sunmare. Let's tap this first, so we sacrifice. Shoot, now I'm stuck. Can you? I wanted to do the elves. Is there some way? Does anyone know of a way to Z out of like treasure chest tokens when you tap and it's already scrolling around like there is with lands? I meant to tap the elves, and now I have to sacrifice the elves and it's untapped, which is really sucky here. It's not even gonna let me tap in response, is it? Let's see. No. Please. Ah, not too bad, I guess. Really want our Slimefoot. We do play 4 Slimefoots, I promise. I haven't even got to see it yet in these 5 matchups. Just once, right? And we didn't really get to use it properly. It's not playing any board wipes, so go ahead and do this again. Just because we're out of timeouts and stuff, and don't want to do it on his turn if he might attack. So next turn we'll be in good shape if the song survives, right? Because these will all get to attack freely, unless he's playing a Settler Wreckage. But if we draw a Sylvan Awakening next turn, then we can feel free to attack and right into Settle. Do Anointed Procession decks play Settle? Maybe 1 or 2? I don't know if they have room for it. They have so many blockers and they try and overrun. Don't know if it's worth it. Maybe he'll tap out and we won't have to worry about it. Alright, we don't have any other creatures to do this with on, right? No. So no plays here at the end of the turn. Boy, it'll be really, really unfortunate if he settles. Let's see if we'll even survive it till the Sylvan Awakening if we draw 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 14, 16 damage. So let's just pray that that is not a settle. It very well could be. I don't think there's any point in sacrificing an Oasis. So many chump blockers. Oh, they do have trample, so maybe it would have been beneficial, but there's still so many blockers. Please. Please no settle. Oh, thank God. Whew. We don't even have to do anything because they're indestructible. Don't have to worry about anything at all. And that's what Song of Freyalise does. Okay. Game still isn't over. If we draw Slimefoot, it might be over. We're almost at lethal if we drew Slimefoot. Well, not now, but... He has enough lifelink. I think I'd rather get rid of a two attack blocker. We have 7, 8 attackers. He has 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. Get rid of a 2/1. God, we're gonna lose another timer. So stupid. God, we can't kick this. We're 1 mana short from kicking it. Such a bummer. Tempted to Oasis one of these Saprolings, attack in a little bit here. He has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18 damage on the board. So we're okay to attack with some stuff here. And if we lose some of these shepherds, we can just bring them back. Let's attack with the 3 shepherds. I think probably just the 3 shepherds. I kind of want to attack with these as well, so that I can just sack them in response. If he'll block 1 with a 4/4. I'll actually attack with 1 3/3 and 1 2/2. Leave these open, and just see what happens here. If there was more time, I'd spend more time thinking about it. I mean, this is a huge, complex board state with lots of creatures, but hell, the timer is terrible, so good luck with that. So we'll definitely sack these because they're not doing anything. I have no time to do this here. Jesus, this timer! Why is it still charging me? So I don't get to play my forest and play my kicker? Seriously? This timer, man. Like, I can only hit resolve so fast, right? Like, it's so frustrating. This combat timer, man. I did everything as fast as I possibly could. I wanted to drop a forest and kicker. That's such a huge difference. A massive difference just now because the timer kept kicking off. There's finally Stowaway. I mean, sorry if I sound a bit frustrated. It's because I am with this combat timer. Yeah, we'll kick her this next turn. So frustrated that we couldn't do it. Like, 5 untapped lands, we had a force, we were able to kick it after the combat step, but I just don't understand why it's so hard for them to fix it. Like, add another 20 seconds to the combat timer, man. It's brutal. Some decks aren't even playable because of it. I'm okay with that. Not any creatures in here, right? No, okay. Oh, it's been bound. That's a bummer. Forgot about that. Who knows? Autocast might tap my creatures. So next turn he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble next turn. Unless he draws his Sunmare here, finally. That might be rough for us. That's okay. Is there any other way to get another Saproling this turn? I don't think so. Okay, nope. Here we go. He has 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blockers. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 attackers. Our attackers are immune this turn to any sort of damage. They have trample. Let's go ahead and sacrifice a desert. Can we please target the right desert? Okay, doesn't matter too much. Go for the shepherd. Okay. Let's see what we have here. 1, 2. If we tap one of these, no, that's no good. Okay, let's go in. Let's see if we lose the game automatically from the timer screwing us from hitting resolve. Could happen. Jesus. No time. Too afraid of the timer. Okay, so that's game. That's game. Whew! Yeah, baby! Whew! Slimefoot the Stowaway! So 4-1. It's what I did earlier, 4-1. I'm telling you guys, this deck is great. It's a fine budget deck. I don't believe any rares came into play there. We played the dual land at the very end there, the Woodland Cemetery, but otherwise we didn't play Driven Despair that game. The one time we did play the Driven Despair, didn't make a huge difference, and so no rares. Another 4 wins, 1 loss, so it works. Try it out. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, please go ahead and tap the like button and subscribe, and quality will continue to increase as I get more experienced and get better. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon.